Welcome to DevMaster Hub, freeCodeCamp challenges. Today we're gonna continue learning basic CSS by building a cafe menu. We're gonna start with step 11 to 20th. Please consider subscribe to the channel, ring the bell notification in order to be notified. So without further ado, let's get started. Step 11. You can add style to an element by specifying it and the style element and setting a property for it like this. The code example says like you can take the element and property value. So center the content of the h1 element by setting its text align property to the value center. So I can go here and type the text content text align. Okay, the text align element. No, I say the text align element, not the text align. So it's gonna be the text align is supposed to be here, the text align, and in the beginning, so I'm gonna take the element that I take, it's the h1. Okay, so the h1 element with the value text align with the value of center. Okay, so now when I check the code, I see it's working, and now you can see the camper cafe is center. So if you go to the HTML that you write before and the first project that we did, the first 1 to 10, so we create this HTML file. So here I can say h1 and I'm gonna put the text align to center with the value center. Okay, center. Okay, so once I control S to save it, if I go straight and open it again and open with Lifesaver, so now you're supposed to see as you will see the camper cafe center. So now the bar menu is center as well. Okay, so now let's go on to the next challenge. Step 12. In the previous step, you use the type selector to style the h1 element, center the content of the h2 and the p element by adding a new type selector for each one of the existing style element. So they say you can do the same to the h2. You can do the same to the h2. Okay, and the p element as well. Okay, center the content of h2 and p elements by adding a new type selector for each one of the existing style element. So I don't need to do this, I can do it at once. So here I can say comma h2 comma space h2 and comma space p element. So let's check it and see. Okay, it says you should not change the existing h1. Okay, so they don't want us to do it this way. So we're gonna do them separately. Okay, so let's do it separately, like h2. So for the h2 I can write the text that align to be center as well. and I can write the p element the same thing. For the p element I put text align to center as well. Okay, so when I check the code, now it's good. Okay, so I can go ahead and do the same thing for the file, HTML file I have. So I have Control C to copy it, and I go down there and say Control V to pass it, and for here I can say H2 and do the same thing right here and say P. Okay, good, and I say Control S to save it. So once I save it, if I go back to the bar coffee, and I see everything is centered. Okay, now let's go. Step 13. You now have 3 type selector with the exact same styling. So you can add the same group of styles to many elements by creating a list of selector. Okay, each selector is separated with comma like this. So as I did before, they asked us to do it this way. So now they say delete the 3 existing type selector and replace them with one selector list that centers the text to the H1, H2 and P element. So now they say instead of doing this way, doing the way that I did it before, so I'm gonna do P element and the other 2, so we don't need it anymore, and check it. Now it's worked. So I can go ahead and do the same thing here too for the file that you created, the index.html as well. You can do the same thing and remove those things. Okay, so now you Control S to save it, so it's gonna still be the same thing. So it's gonna still be the same thing. So now when I check it, yeah, still the same. Okay, now step 14. You have styled 3 elements by creating CSS inside the style tags. This works, but since there will be many more styles, it's best to put all the style in a separated file and link to it. So now we have created a separated style, that's CSS file for you, and switch the editor view to that file. You can change between file with the tab at the top of the editor. Okay, start by rewriting the styles you have created into the style.css file. Make sure to include the opening and closing style tag. Make sure to exclude the opening and closing style tags. So now here I'm in the CSS file right here. So now what we can do, we can say H1, okay, H2, okay, and P element with the bracket. So they say to exclude the style, so we don't have to put the style when we are in the CSS file. So now we're gonna put the text content, text align to be center. Okay, and it's gonna do the same thing. Okay, so I check it, it's good. So now if I go to my index.html file, so now I gonna remove this. Okay, now I supposed to link the another file, which is the style.css. Okay, so to link it, I supposed to put rel, okay, and style sheet, and the href gonna be the dot style.css. Okay, so I put styles for myself and that's CSS. Okay, and I close the link tag, the link. Okay, so now by doing this, I'm supposed to create the style.css file. So I go here and say style.css. Okay, and now with inside the style.css, I can write the same thing that I remove here. I can write h1, okay, h2, and p element. So I'm gonna put it the text align to be centered. Okay. Okay. So if I save it, so now when I go back to the web browser, I supposed to see the same thing. Okay, that means the style is linked. Okay, now step 15. Now that you have the CSS and the styles.css file, go ahead and remove the style element and all its content. Once it is removed, the text that was centered will shift back to the left. Okay, so now they say to remove it, so when I remove it, the text will back to the left. Okay, as you already know, so we already did this. Now step 16, now you need to link the style.css file to the, so the style will be applied again inside the head element. Add a link element, give it a rel attribute with the value of style sheet and the href attribute with the value of style.css. So now the same thing that we did before, we're gonna do it again. Like we put the link and rel that, okay, style sheet and the href, okay, to style that CSS. Okay, now it's good, we already did this. Step 17, for the styles of the page to look similar on mobile as it does on the desktop or laptop, you need to add a meta tag. You need to add a meta element with a special content attribute. Add the following within the head element. Okay, so this meta tag, you're supposed to add it with the head element. So I can copy it. Okay, Control C to copy it, and here I can add it to the page. Okay, meta tag, name, viewport, content, okay, width equal device dash width, and the initial scale 1.0. So I can go do the same thing right here too. Inside my HTML element, I can go ahead and put the same meta tag right here. Okay, it doesn't change anything. So now, okay, let's go. Okay, now step 18. The text is centered again, so the link to the CSS file is working. Add another style to the file that changes the background color property to brown, okay, for the body element. So I'm gonna add another CSS for the body. It's body, so I'm gonna hide the background to the background dash color to brown. Okay, background color to brown. So you can do the same thing inside of the body element right here and the CSS. So I'm gonna type for the body, I'm gonna put the body with the background color. Okay, the background color, I can type it to brown. Okay, so when I Control S and I go see it here, so it's gonna be the same. Okay, now check it, it's good. Let's go for the step 19. Okay, that brown background makes it hard to read the text. Change the body element's background color to a burly wood, so it has some color, but you are still be able to read the text. So I can change it to burly wood. Okay, and it's gonna work this way. The background is changed, so I can do the same thing right here. I can do the same thing right here, which is burly wood. Okay, so it's gonna give me the same. Okay, good. When I check it right here, it's the same color. Apply. Now step 20. The div element is used mainly to design layout purposes. Unlike the other content elements you have used so far, add a div element inside the body element and then move all the other elements inside the new div. Inside the opening div tag, add an ID attribute with the value of menu. So now they say you need to add, okay, add a div inside the body element, okay, and then move everything to it. So inside the body element right here, I'm gonna add a div, okay, with the ID of menu. Okay, so I close it and close the div as well, and now I can move everything right here, everything on the main. Control X to cut. So here I can add it and Control V to paste it, and it's gonna be the same thing. So I can indent it with 2 spaces. Okay. Good. So now when I check it, it's good. So I can do the same thing right here as well in the index.html. So we can go there and type the div. Okay. So inside I'm gonna put an ID with the text, the ID with the text menu. Okay, the ID with the value menu, and I cut out everything by Control X and go here and paste it. Okay, Control S to save it. So it's still gonna be the same. Okay, it's still gonna be the same. Whenever I refresh this, it's still gonna be the same. Nothing changed. So now we stop on step 20. So we're gonna continue until we finish the project. Thank you very much for watching. Now please subscribe to the channel and ring the bell notification in order to be notified.